Alright guys, welcome back to another Raid Shadowlands video. This is Ali Plays, and today we're going to be doing a top 10 Epic Void Champions. So this is no specific order. I will do specific orders after I get out all my top 10 videos. Yeah, let's get started. So we're going to head down to the index. So we're going to start with the Knight Revenant faction. So again, yeah, these guys are top 10 Epic Void Champions. These guys will help you out many aspects of the game. I'll go over that. They will be very viable for faction wars as well. So the first person we're going to talk about is Golden Reaper. So Golden Reaper, she attacks on her A1. She attacks one enemy, has a 30% chance of decreasing the cooldown of one random ally skills by 1 turn. That's what makes her really good. So if you have her, make sure you max out her abilities, because that 30% can be a 50% chance, which will happen often. You make it really fast. She has an AoE that has a 50% chance of placing a 50% decreased attack debuff for 2 turns, and she decreases the turn rate of each target by 20% if they are not under a decreased attack debuff, which is, yes, this can be pretty viable for Spider's Den. Her A3, she places a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns and boosts their turn meter by 20%, which is a bigger boost than Apothecary's A3. And she has an aura skill that increases ally accuracy and faction crypts by 40. So that is a new aura skill. And let's move on to the next one. So we have Skullcrown. So Skullcrown is really annoying if you've fought her before. If you have her, you obviously love having her, so congratulations. If you don't have her, you want to pull her. So make sure you guys pull her. Easier said than done. So I do have Skullcrown now. I will be working on a guide for her. So what I like about her is that she has an AoE that places an extra hit if the target has more than 50% HP. So if you build her very powerful, sometimes she won't hit the double hit because they won't have more than 50% HP. She has another AoE that has a 50% chance of placing a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns. And she places, what makes her really annoying is right here. She places an unkillable buff on herself for 1 turn every time her HP drops below 20%. That's what makes her really annoying. And if you have her partner in crime, Sinesha, she can revive with 30% HP when she dies. And she can also increase ally speed in the arena by 22%. So if you don't have any aura skill that is higher than that for arena in terms of speed, then she's a viable choice. So let's move on to the Dark Elves faction, where we have Lua. Lua's an attack type champion. I know I put her on many lists because she is very good. Her A1, she attacks one enemy, deals 50% of the inflicted damage to all enemies if the attack is critical. So make sure you guys get that crit rate up if you have her. She has another AoE that attacks all enemies 3 times. Most people that do this ability attack twice or once, but she does it 3 times. And each critical hit heals the champion by 2.5% HP. In her A3, she attacks one enemy, the attack will fully deplete the turn meter and will ignore shield and block damage buffs. So you can see how powerful she is just by reading her kit. And I also got Sylar on my list. I don't think I put her in any of my other lists before. So Sylar has an AoE in her basic attack, AoE in her A2, and her A3. She places a 30% decreased speed debuff on all enemies for 2 turns, and she decreases the turn meter of all enemies by 40%. So she is like top tier Spider's Den champion. And then her aura skill, she increases ally speed and faction crypts by 22%. So this is obviously a new aura skill. And she has 105 base speed after getting to level 60 and 6-star ascension without any artifacts, which is pretty high. And her attack is 1123. That's pretty good for a support champion. So yeah, she's very good for Spider's Den. If you have her, I would recommend building her for Spider's Den. So let's move on to the Demon Spawn. And let's talk about Padma. So Padma finally is making my list, man. She made my last list for the defense champions. And here she is again with my top 10 Void Epic Champions. So she has a double hit on her basic attack. If the hit is critical, she applies decreased attack debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. She has an AoE that can place a decreased accuracy debuff for 2 turns. And she can attack one enemy and remove all the buffs from the target and places them on herself. And let's go to the Ogren tribes, where we got Maneater. Okay, so Maneater, I have Maneater. I will be doing an in-depth guide / review on him pretty soon. I have his masteries finished. I'm just trying to work on his artifacts for you guys. So he's a very good champion. Yeah, well, I'll explain why. So he has his A1. He attacks an enemy, and then he places a 50% decreased attack debuff on all enemies if the attack is critical. So you want to build him with close to 100% crit rate as you can, so you can decrease attack on mass decrease attack. So this guy is very good for Spider's Den because of that ability. And he has an A1 that fully depletes the target's turn meter, and he fills the champion's turn meter equal to the amount of the target loses. So again, Spider's Den right there. That's where I see him. That's why I'm building him, because of that. And his A3 is on a very, very long cooldown, so you want to make sure you work on his books. So it can be a 5-turn cooldown. 7 turns is way too long, it's not cutting it. Ancient Blood. This champion receives damage, so he does take damage when he uses this ability initially. And then he places an unkillable buff and a block debuffs buff on all allies for 2 turns. And the damage receives equal to 5% max HP for each alive ally. So yeah, unkillable and block debuffs is very good for Spider's Den because of the block debuffs, obviously. He's a very good champion. And his aura skill increases ally HP in dungeons by 33%. So I have tried using him in Clan Boss, and I'll explain more about that in my in-depth guide/review, so you guys stay tuned for that. Say Sacred Order. We're gonna talk about this guy again. Talking about Light Sworn. So Light Sworn, this guy's making all types of lists, man. He has a triple hit on his basic attack that decreases turn meter by 10%. Yeah, he has decreased attack and decreased speed on his A2. And he places 60% increased defense and a revive on death buff on all allies for 2 turns. So yeah, this guy's amazing for Clan Boss. Good for arenas. You can use him anywhere, man. Yeah, this guy, just build him and use him. Look at that. Look at that defense. 1476 base defense at level 66 star ascension without any artifacts. And his speed is not too shabby as well. He's got 97. So let's go talk about Rouen. I love talking about Rouen, man. I talk about Rouen like the most out of probably any content created for Raid Shadow Legends. So her A1, she attacks one enemy and has a 50% chance of placing 100% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. Damage increases according to speed. This is what I love about her, man. You can build her with high speed. She has high space speed already, 108. Build her with high speed, high offense. She'll be doing a bunch of damage on this ability, especially after getting that speed boost from Apothecary, which actually helps her do more damage. Crazy, man, trust me. She slays Rain Beast, man. Triple hit on her A2, that each hit has a 30% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. So I have max booked Rouen, and I will be doing an updated in-depth guide/review on her whenever I get time to do it, because I've been working on other videos. So this ability, when booked, is going to be 50% chance of placing that stun, which is very, very huge for arena. If you can, she's very fast, so she's going to go first, and if she can stun 3 enemies, because it attacks 3 times at random. It can be the same target, but if she has 3 different enemies and stuns them, it's a huge, huge momentum boost right there. A3 quadruple hit. It's on a 4-turn cooldown when maxed out, and each hit has a 50% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. So yes, I was using her for Clan Boss before I got better champions, but she is a viable choice. She can hit up to 5 million damage on Clan Boss if you build her properly. But I was using her without even building her with lifesteal or anything. I was using her arena build, which is pretty crazy if you ask me. And she has a new aura skill, increase ally accuracy factions crits by 50, so that's good for her. So let's move on to the High Elves up here. So we got the last 2 on the High Elves. We have Battle Sage. So people say she sucks. I don't know why you guys saying she sucks. She was on my top 10 epic champions, I think, on my list. I don't think she would be anymore, but she was, because there were new champions released. She has an AoE in her basic attack. Her A2 removes all debuffs on all allies, then places a 50% increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns. And this buff cannot be removed. So if people say that she sucks, they said, oh, she doesn't do that much damage. You guys gotta realize she's a support champion, and she should be used to her abilities, not to single-handedly win battles. That's not her job. Her job is to support. So she has a revive on death buff on a target ally for 3 turns, and the ally will instantly revive if killed. It's going to be a 4-turn cooldown when maxed out. And she has a universal aura skill that increases ally speed in all battles by 19%. So she is a good choice, Battle Sage, if you have her. I would actually use her if I had her, but I don't, so I wouldn't complain if you guys have her, man. Let's move on to next champion, Exemplar. So she's an attack type champion. She has a double hit on her basic attack. She places an extra hit if the attack is critical. She has a triple hit at random on her A2. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns. And if you max that out, it's going to be a 75% chance on a 2-turn cooldown. So that 2-turn cooldown is actually very good. She's actually, with this ability, she can be viable for Clan Boss if you need a weakened champion. So you can throw in War Master on her and throw in book her out, but There are better options obviously for clan boss, but she is viable in other places in the game. Her A3, she attacks one enemy, has a 75% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn and a block cooldown skills debuff for 2 turns. So this instantly screws over whichever person manages to be at that end of the stick, because not only are they frozen, but when they come back, the skills are on cooldown. So what are they going to do? And this can be a 100% chance when maxed out on a 4-turn cooldown. And she has increased ally crit rate in the arena by 27%. And look at that base attack, 1509, 94 speed. Her HP is kind of low, but she looks like she can deal a lot of damage. So we got honorable mentions. Let's move on to the orcs. So my honorable mention is Seer, only because she's getting nerfed, if you guys don't know. So if I were you guys, I wouldn't invest in her, because if they nerf people, they usually nerf them very, very hard. So right now she's an honorable mention depending on how they nerf her. So if you guys don't know, she was like basically soloing Spider's Den. That would automatically make her number 1 on my list. But since she's getting nerfed, which is confirmed by Plarium, she's not on the list. So her A1, she has a 15% chance of getting an extra turn, which is a basic attack. Her A2, she places a 30% increased crit rate buff on allies for 2 turns. Places a 25% weakened debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. And her this ability right here is what's going to get her nerfed. If she's not nerfed by the time this video is out, she removes all buffs from all allies and enemies, and then she attacks all enemies. Damage increases according to the number of removed buffs, and she has a 50% chance of placing a sleeve debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. The chance of placing a sleeve debuff increases by 5% for each debuff removed. Inflicts less damage to bosses, but damage is based on enemy max HP, which is on a 4-turn cooldown when maxed out. So the strategy was using champions that has unique buffs. So you let them all go first, and then Seer was the last one to go. And then when she goes, she's going to be doing massive damage. I think she can 1 or 2 turn the Spider's Den, stage 20. So she's doing, I don't know, like 11 million damage by herself. So that's why she got nerfed, or she's getting nerfed. Her aura skill increased ally resist in all battles by 40. So yeah, she is a good champion, but let's see how things go with her nerf. Let's go into the Ogryn tribes. We gotta talk about Towering Titan. So Towering Titan was obtainable from the Fully Fusion event. He was the last reward for the training event of the whole fusion fiasco thing. So this guy, his A1, he attacks one enemy, has a 40% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. And that can be a 55% chance when maxed out. His A2 attacks 4 times at random, and he has a 50% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn. And that chance will be 60% on a 3-turn cooldown, which is pretty huge because technically it's an AoE provoke. It's pretty huge for an epic champion. His A3, he places a 60% increased defense buff on allies for 2 turns, and he places a 15% continuous heal buff on himself for 2 turns, as well as a shield buff on himself equal to 30% of their HP of their max HP for 2 turns, and that's on a 4-turn cooldown. And he has a passive ability. He will transfer 50% of the damage inflicted on Cagebreaker to his champion during battle. So this is only available when Cagebreakers on the same team. If multiple Cagebreakers on the team, this champion will only transfer the damage from one of them. So this guy has a huge health pool, 23,790 base HP, or even putting in artifacts on. So he did make my honorable mentions list. Let me know down in the comment section what would your list look like, and let me know if you guys, how do you think they should nerf Seer if and when they decide to nerf her. Well, she is getting nerfed for sure. So I hope you guys found this video helpful or entertaining. If you guys do, make sure you guys drop a like, and if you guys are new to the channel and you like what you see, then definitely hit that big red subscribe button. And while you're at it, make sure you guys hit the bell icon to let YouTube know you want to see up to date on all my latest content. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.